Herodotus, the Greek historian, reported. I'm just gonna restart. Herodotus, the Greek historian, reported that the ancient Persians tended to deliberate on important matters when they were drunk. Then they'd reconsider them. They did it when they were sober. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Anyway, my name's Willows.
And my name's Tyler.
We're gonna. This is a podcast. Well, thanks for joining us. This is Alcohol Beyond This Point. I usually do an intro. I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, you do things sober and drunk, and we're already drunk, so.
So whatever. What are we drinking today, Tyler?
We've been drinking.
What
if on video, this bottle's already half empty. Thanks, Willows.
Hey.
I'm sorry. I brought a bottle of cognac to you, and I'm surprised that it's empty. What is this even? What's it called? Moo cow.
Like a moo cow?
Moo cow vs cognac.
This is gonna be a shit show. I can already tell.
I'm into it.
Why'd you bring an expensive cognac today, Tyler?
I brought in what a great segue.
Thank you.
Thank you. Introduction.
Thank you.
Today is the day I officially cleaned out my office at the last job I'll ever have.
Congratulations.
So I made the leap, broke the chains, and golden handcuffs are no longer on this sorry motherfucker.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. We're not shooting it.
We're not shooting the expensive cognac. Yeah, congratulations. I've been nagging you most of the time that we've known each other for you to fucking stop having a job and start a business, because I've been telling you, you're definitely smarter than me. And if I can fucking do it, then I don't see why you can't. So
yeah, and for context, I was laid off because of COVID. Business I was working with, Rehab Kings, it did not go out of business. It just simply, the volume went down.
And they're kind of pivoting their business model.
Yeah, the business pivoted because of COVID, and the volume of business was drastically reduced because we had investors and buyers and all these people that are, the engine to this whole company that were from France and from Israel and from the UK. And what can you not do right now? You cannot travel from Spain.
Yeah.
So, or you cannot travel from anywhere in Europe. So that canceled probably 20, 30 deals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like,
you've also been considering, I know that when we were in Mexico, you were kind of talking about how you kind of had a different perspective recently.
Yeah.
And stuff.
So it was serendipity.
Yeah.
Thank you, COVID.
Thanks, COVID.
But basically what happened is, when you sit at home and you realize that, A, job security is a joke, doesn't matter where you work.
No.
You're susceptible to the whims of either executives or entrepreneurs or politics or whatever.
Or
a pandemic.
Or global ending pandemics.
Right. So job security is a joke, number one. And number two, if you have a major break to your lifestyle, you change how much money you spend and you realize how little you need.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I went onto the CERB program, the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit for you Americans, which is extremely easy, get $2,000 a month, and because I've got such low expenses, I've been able to pay off more debt in the last 2 months doing nothing than I have in the 12 months prior of working and saving or trying to save.
Don't tell them that. They'll scale back the program.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good. It's working well. The reason being, I'm just not spending money.
Yeah.
And of course, it's taxable and whatever. But I mean, I can whack out credit cards and interest and whatever and improve my credit. So life turns on a dime, and basically, this pandemic eliminated all my excuses. Took away my comforts and left me in a position where I'm, staring this right in the face, and I'm like, if I go back to a job, I am consciously telling myself that regardless of the circumstance, you don't want to start a business.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I definitely think that you overthink things.
Absolutely. I'm overtrained, overprepared, overeducated at this point.
You're fucking more qualified than half the entrepreneurs I know that make good money. You're more qualified.
Because, I want to just say because, I mean, you're tooting my horn, which is great. But why?
Why are you qualified, or
Yeah.
why are you more qualified if you don't fucking do anything with it?
Well, or why am I what makes me
You've
qualified?
spent a lot of time, I don't know if we're going to call them mentors, but you've spent a lot of time around a lot of people.
Let's call them mentors.
Let's call them, you've had 3 or 4 successful mentors over the last
with limited usefulness
4 or 5 years, but you've learned a lot each time.
Yeah.
That you've taken a step. We've touched on it multiple times before in this podcast. Like you've had 4 or 5 high-powered careers. Like some making good money. Like
most not,
but some making actual money. And I think you've had good, at least if not good teachers, you've been around successful people for a long time, me included,
and been involved in good companies, making, selling something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And selling it so well that it eventually does exist.
Yeah.
Like these kinds of principles are all part of what I need to do, but I've just never.
Well, you've done it all except own the business.
Yeah, literally.
You've essentially done every single thing that I had to do to start my business, other than going down.
And I have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Going down to the fucking company's office.
Yeah.
And I think if you go back to episode 1 of this podcast and we explain why we started it, one of the big reasons was because that one conversation we had when we were drunk and I was fucking busting your balls and I'm like, we're both fucking depressed and shit right now, but at least I own my business and you don't.
Yeah.
And
so progression, right? I mean, what episode is this?
11.
Yeah, episode 11. Bookmark it. That's what it took.
But to be fair, well, I guess we can't get too into it. Or you can say whatever you want. I won't get too into it. But the situation that you had with this company just changed, where you were originally going to have an equity piece of the company, and that didn't end up happening.
Because the original deal just dissolved, and the original venture failed.
Yeah, the company that you were going to get a piece of doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Rough go of it.
Yeah, which is what it is, right?
It's been a bad year.
Yeah, well, yeah. Jokes on COVID. Nothing can be worse than my 2019, so I'm not. Aha! I mean, like, it's, as someone who acts first and thinks later, I'm, welcome to the team.
I have very little in place to catch me in terms of a safety net or a plan. We had a call.
That was yesterday?
Yesterday. No.
2 days ago?
Day before yesterday. Started a little mastermind call, trying to work something out with friends. Tried a new format, where basically you have a group of people, you get on a conference call every week, and on that call you discuss, first and foremost, kind of like how everybody's doing, what we call a temperature check, emotionally, financially, relationship, business, money-wise, whatever. Say whatever you want, but be honest. And you have to share stuff that you're not just sharing like platitudes with all your other friends. Like, talk about some real stuff. And then the main part of the conversation is everyone in the group focuses on one individual, and that person gets to present a problem, or they just basically get the floor to talk, monologue, discuss their problems or what's going well, and the whole group can kind of rally around them to either solve the problem or encourage them or whatever.
Yeah.
So we did that, and I, of course, based it on myself because, I organized it and selfishly wanted my friends' help. So we did that, and I kind of figured out my first steps, and I'm probably set for the next month of actions I need to take. And if I haven't taken those actions when we hit that call,
then we can keep you accountable.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Hey, what the fuck's wrong with you, Tyler?"
Yeah, which I think that's definitely an important part. Well, that's half the reason, like, networking groups and stuff exist in the first place was.
But you have to do it intentionally, not just for social pleasure.
Yeah. Because definitely I've been in a situation where I didn't want to dial back or quit or anything because I'm like, well, I've already fucking not that people are counting on me, but it's like I've already told people I was going to do this, and I told people about this business, and people see me on Facebook having this business, And what would it say to these people if I just gave up and went out of business, right?
Yeah.
So I do it in kind of a more chaotic fashion where I'm like, well, I'm not going to fuck it. I basically do it to prove people wrong, right? Where I'm not quitting because I need to prove people wrong. But you can do it in a more productive manner where, we have a regular thing scheduled and we can keep each other kind of accountable in that way.
Yeah, I think the mastermind group and networking both have their place.
Yeah.
We can't do networking right now, so...
Thanks, COVID.
Yeah. So we're going to be launching some events once we can that I think are going to be really good. Difference between networking and mastermind.
The difference between networking and masterminding, I think networking is going outward, masterminding is coming inward. That was like a piece of why. That was the smartest I've ever sounded, honestly.
Cheers to that.
Well, networking, I would go to a networking party, event, whatever, to meet people. Masterminding.
And to drink and eat.
Yeah. Masterminding, it's people I already know, and I'm trying to grow that way.
Yeah.
Like more inward.
It's an intentional connection.
Yeah. And it's not like a lot of masterminding, I would say, isn't like I'm not trying to use anyone's connections necessarily. I'm more trying to use their skill sets and their wisdom and their knowledge and their experience, right? Whereas networking, I forget what it's from, but they say like the most effective form of networking is to like fulfill a favor for somebody else, right? Like something like someone's like, oh, I need my bathroom renovated, retiled, and I'm like, oh, my friend Tyler does that. I connect you. I've made both of you money. Now both of you owe me a favor, essentially.
Yeah.
Right. But I think masterminding is more. And this may be semantics, right? Like you can call it whatever the fuck you call it, but it's more like inward, like more. Maybe even more philosophical in a way.
Yeah, definitely. And also, masterminds typically have a financial barrier because to become a part of a private, exclusive, organized group, there's a cost to that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you have a unique group of people that will organize it themselves, but most
like us,
right?
Well, the two other gentlemen we got in the group with us. We've been talking about doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And
3 out of 4 of us would pay for it. 1 would not.
I wonder who you're talking to about.
You know who you are.
I'm not giving anyone money for anything. Ever.
No, you will.
I just won't.
Okay, maybe 2 out of 4.
Not only will I not give you money, I won't give the government money. I won't give the tax man money. I won't even give my dog money. No, I'll give my dog money.
No, you're absolutely wrong about that because you're going to give a lot of people a lot of money to get your way.
Yeah.
So don't say that because it's not true.
Why don't you crack a drink?
I'm cracking a drink. I am drinking the non-such Belgian peach, and I miss non-such. Man, do I miss non-such.
Man, I miss going to bars. I miss going to breweries. I miss just being outside in chaos with loud people talking and shit and fucking. Oh man, do I miss it? I'm gonna live at the bar for not that I didn't before, but
Pop a 10.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hate to keep bringing up COVID every single podcast, but I mean it's the most relevant thing. Posted today, survey says that right now 6% of small businesses in Canada have already closed their doors and aren't going to be opening again after the pandemic.
That's significant.
And 56% said they don't have rent for May.
That's insane.
Oh, businesses polled, obviously,
yeah.
But
yeah, that's crazy.
Over half of the businesses said they don't have rent for next month. This is April 22nd today. We're recording this.
Yep.
And
peak of a meteor shower. Fun fact.
Elon just launched like 400 more Starlinks yesterday.
Awesome.
There's now 420 Starlink satellites, and he tweeted it on 420, like a winky face.
Great job.
Yeah, I haven't been able to see them yet, but if you can see these Starlink satellites, there's like hundreds of them in a row.
Oh, I saw them last night, and I was wondering what the hell that was because I'd never seen it before.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what that was.
Starlinks.
So you can see them. I counted. I could see 7 at a time.
Yeah.
And they're perfectly spaced, and it's just like a stripe.
So
going across the sky.
That's what they are, and the intention,
awesome.
Daddy Elon's intention is those are going to give the entire world free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's what they're for.
Yeah. No, it was super eerie because I'm like, oh look, a satellite. Oh look, another one. Oh, there's 4. Oh, there's 6.
Yeah.
There's 7 of them.
Yeah.
And it was just like it was a constant stream.
Yeah.
I was staring at it for 2 hours and it didn't change.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yes, that's pretty cool.
I'm happy I can see them from my house.
Yeah. Well, you can see the ISS all the time.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It's big.
My dad's into astrology and stuff. He used to.
Astronomy.
Yeah. What's astrology? Oh, that's like signs, right?
It's the
Pisces and stuff.
It's the real stuff.
I know enough about, I know my moon sign and my rising sign,
right?
Just to hit on girls,
right? That's pretty much why guys learn it.
Yeah, because many a time I'll be drinking with a girl and they're like, oh, what's your sign? I'm like, well, I'm a Pisces, but I'm a Leo rising. And like, oh, that's why. I'm like, yeah, I know.
No idea what you're talking about.
I've read enough that I can bluff my way through a conversation, but astronomy.
So buy his book, learn about game.
The one where you look at stars, my father was into that. He was a grade 6 teacher for many years.
Yeah.
He used to do a thing where the kids could sign up and come at night to the school, and they would go in the field and look with a telescope and look at stuff. And I would go a few times when I was younger.
That's actually one thing that I really want is a giant telescope in my house.
Yeah. That'd be so cool. Yeah.
In my study or whatever that rich people do.
Yeah, whatever rich people do, yeah. That's cool, but the satellite technology we have now is super cool. You can see shit that, no one had ever been able to see up until recently. You can get Hubble shots right to your phone in full HD, right? It's pretty cool. Space is cool.
So, all this apocalypse talk is really funny in a small town, let me tell you. Because I'm in, a Christian conservative area.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about how, the vaccine is going to be this chip, chip in your arm from the Antichrist, and then you're doomed to hell and blah blah. It's you hear everything. It's pretty amazing, honestly. And I think I don't know, with the death rates and everything, and people are just in this crazy state of panic. And I'm really, really excited for coming out on the other side of this, because there's one major thing that we very briefly talked about, or in a group chat today, the possibility of a universal basic income like CERB staying and never going away.
Yeah, this is the time.
This would be the perfect time to do it.
This would be the time to push it through, I think, because you don't want to be the prime minister next election cycle. That's promising to take that away from everybody, right?
Right.
And once you give people $2,000 a month free,
good luck canceling it.
That could be sure to. What do you think about UBI?
I'm all for it.
So
I really like UBI in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I think there has to be a lot of things in place to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think
like what?
The pandemic is a great example where people get the idea of what it's like to be lazy and sit at home and do nothing.
Yeah.
So you open that up and people liberally spend their money. Because when people get a universal basic income, what are they going to do? They're going to spend it.
Yeah.
Just like they would any other income.
So
that's going to
probably you as well, but I
will do well.
No, I am the perfect model for UBI. I am the ideal citizen, because if I got $2,000 a month free, I would work on my business regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I wouldn't sit at home. I would use that to invest in my company to grow it quicker.
Yeah.
Right? That's
okay. So,
but we're a very, very, very small amount of the population, though.
The person that doesn't, though, let's talk about that.
That's 90% of the people I know that wouldn't. would just stay at home.
I really like this topic, though.
I do too.
So, what would a person with UBI...
Let's make this the debate then. Pro UBI?
Yes.
I'm anti.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Back to the OG.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
it's the death of capitalism.
Yeah, not even like.
Pretty close.
Okay, I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if we don't have a capitalist system anymore. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play the game no matter what game we have in front of us. I think that UBI. Okay, well, so let's talk idealistically and then let's talk realistically. Realistically, we're not. Okay, where's the money coming from?
A lot of taxes.
The left would say, okay, well, we just have 100% tax on anyone making over $1 million a year, and then we use that to fund it.
Fuck you.
But there's more. There's implication there. Well, because I just don't think that realistically, I think we agree on this. You can't tax people 100% over like 200 grand. Like,
no,
they're going to move their money.
No, absolutely
right?
Not. It's not possible. You cannot tax the rich.
Yeah.
You can tax middle class and lower class. You cannot tax the
rich.
And
whether that is moral or immoral or whatever, like
relevant.
I think you already know my opinion at least on that. But whatever you think about the morality of taxing the rich, it doesn't work.
No.
You're not going to get away.
Never has, never will.
Yeah. Because they're conniving and they're,
they can afford lawyers that know better.
Yeah. So.
And government moves half as fast as private.
Yeah. But so unless you're going to enforce it with guns.
Even then.
Like we're going to, they'll leave probably, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or they'll control the guns now, right? Anyway, either way, I think that it's kind of an impossible thing to afford. But then there's also an argument to be made with well, money doesn't fucking exist. Just print more money, right?
True. I believe in UBI with, I guess it's technically not UBI. There would be certain qualifications on it.
What kind of qualification? Like, what do you mean?
I think people with certain, let's say, recent immigration status, I would say age should be a factor.
Okay.
With, diminishing as you get older.
Okay.
Let's say working age from 18 to 25, you have some degree of support. After 25, you got none.
Okay. Well, because
students, absolutely. Immigrants, absolutely. Any kind of maternity, language handicap, physical handicap, it should be very liberal.
Yeah.
With that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Because
my counter argument to paying these people, also these people, fuck whoever made that a racist thing. This group of people, let's say we do pay them that much. Where do they spend their money?
Pizza Hut.
And?
Shrugging Dr. Beverage Company.
And?
I don't know, Walmart?
And?
Hundreds of places.
Rent?
Oh, yeah.
Car payment? Insurance? Cell phone? Internet?
Yeah.
What everybody spends their money on.
Yeah.
Think about the bottom $2,000 of your income.
Yeah.
Where does that all go? Your basic needs, right?
Yeah.
These things,
food,
everybody has internet, phone, rent, food, car, gas, transport, maybe some alcohol, maybe some socializing, 1 or 2 concert tickets a year. We all kind of live the same fucking life. There's just a little bit of variety in what we buy.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same categories. That money will continue to flow, employed or not.
Okay.
So whether you make that working at McDonald's or you make it from the government, that money will, I think, flow back into the capitalist system.
Yeah.
The same way, if not more.
So, I guess, I think...
It's trickle up economics. That's what it is.
Yeah, okay.
It's trickle up economics.
So, I guess, I think...
So this is trickle down versus trickle up.
Yeah, so I just personally know more people than not that would take $2,000 a month and be like, I don't have to do anything now.
Yeah.
And just stay at home.
But are those people valuable to the economy in the first place?
Interesting point. Okay. All right. Okay.
No, because they can be replaced by a probably $2,000 robot made at MIT.
I don't want to have to switch my idea.
Drink
conclusion.
more. Drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's another thing, is that people like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are very, very, very pro universal basic income when all the jobs get replaced by automation.
Yes.
And there's nothing. And there's nothing for us to do anymore.
Yeah.
So how do we earn an income? We can't, because robots are doing everything.
Yeah, which is relatively soon. But that looks a lot more.
20 years.
Yeah, that looks a lot more like a sci-fi utopia type of thing.
It's not going to be utopia. I'll tell you that right now.
What do they call it? What's the opposite of utopia?
Dystopian.
Dystopian. That's what I was thinking. I don't know if that's a real word. Yeah. So dystopian future where there's what's that show where you can basically drop your brain into a new body and live forever.
They do that on a bunch
movie.
of...
No, it's a movie. Anyways,
they do that on a ton of things.
It'll come to me anyways.
It's in Futurama. It's
very
Fallout.
recent.
It's in a bunch of things.
Oh, what show is this? It's a Netflix thing. Anyways, but basically they have like a name for these people that can afford to. So basically, every time you transfer your consciousness, you lose a little bit of your humanity.
Yeah.
Because whatever data lost in the transfer, and because it can't perfectly be replicated in the new body, but if you transfer your consciousness into a clone, you don't lose the same data.
Okay.
It's like instead of 10% every time, you lose less than 1%. So you can transfer yourself into clones and be immortal, almost nearly immortal.
Put a pin in that, because talking about functional immortality, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's coming soon.
We're approaching it by like 7 different ways right now.
Yeah.
Where some people are working on trying to make your body immortal, some people are trying to be able to transfer your mind, your consciousness.
They do both?
Scientists are approaching it from like 20 different ways. Anyway, but I think a lot of, especially right-wing people, are against universal basic income. They could say whatever they want, but basically they're jealous that someone can get $2,000 a month for free.
Yeah.
Quote, quote, quote. Like,
yeah.
Like, well, I have been building turnpikes my entire life. These fucking hippies don't deserve to. It's like, fuck up. Like,
you could drop minimum wage to like $4.
Well, the idea is when you introduce UBI, you eliminate all other welfare.
Yeah.
There's no other welfare programs.
Or minimum wage.
I think I
feel like minimum wage would also go away.
So the one model that they tested in northern Manitoba, and Ontario, we had a couple test runs. The one they tested was how it would work is if you started, because right now if you start working, you basically lose more welfare than you gain money working.
Yes.
Like, I know a few people that are on like disability and they want to work part-time,
but they're worse off.
But they would lose more money.
Yeah.
So, but how the UBI structure worked was, say you get $2,000 a month, you can like earn another $2,000 a month free by working a job. But then when you hit like $4,000, then like every $100 more money you gain from your job, you lose you lose like half that.
Yeah.
From UBI until you're making like $10,000 a month from your job, then you're not making any UBI anymore.
Yeah.
Which I think
you're taxed at 50%.
But there's still an incentive to go work.
Yes.
Right.
So here, let's talk about, put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about work and purpose.
Sure. Yeah.
Why do people work besides money? Because people obviously work for more than money. Because people are sitting at home earning money, pissed that they can't go to work.
Yeah. Right now, COVID's a perfect example of this. Is people? Yeah, I think people have a purpose when they.
I think man's nature is to get purpose, and if he doesn't, like, you're gonna have a low, whatever you call lower class.
Yeah.
I think the bottom of the pile will get worse.
Yeah.
Because not only will you have no purpose, but it'll be easier to have no purpose.
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't want to live on $2,000 a month for the rest of my life.
Exactly. Most people don't.
I think most people do, though. Most people would. Most people can.
Most people can, but for how long? Like, there's a sense, like, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Purpose is, a lot of people don't have, a lot of people do have, like, restlessness.
Yeah.
And need, like, there's the human needs.
Yeah.
You need predictability, you need unpredictability, you need purpose, you need importance, you need love, you need, I don't know, terrible seminar speaker. I didn't study at all. But yeah, anyway, the basic 7 human needs, like, you cannot fulfill them sitting at home.
Yeah. Maybe, do you think I just have a warped sense of reality because of all the young people that I hang out with? And
No, I think your warped sense of reality is probably...
I love, like, you're not denying I have a warped sense of reality. You're like, no, it doesn't come from that, it comes from this.
No, I'd say like 30 to 40% of Canada and America are in the same boat.
What? How? What same boat?
Of that mentality.
What? The people wouldn't work if they got free money?
Yeah. But can the system survive at that? Probably, because it's going to have to, because all the jobs are going to go away.
Yeah.
How many of them? A lot.
I guess, like, it comes down to people get romantic about what we are and not what we can be.
Yeah.
Just like I was laughing about oil prices right now. They're below $0 a barrel. You have to pay people to get the oil off your property.
Yeah.
And I was laughing because I have a bunch of friends from Alberta on Facebook that are, like, crying and blaming Trudeau or blaming Saudi Arabia or whoever and getting mad and whatever. And I'm just like, sucks to suck. Like, should have diversified your portfolio, you fucking idiots. Like,
yeah.
You know, because I'm like, yeah, well, let's diversify, let's go into the future, let's get renewable, et cetera, et cetera. Should that be my same mentality with, like, UBI-wise? Like, maybe here's how we are right now, but maybe we shouldn't always be like that.
My primary argument is that the people that will become immobilized by UBI,
mobilized or immobilized? Or, like,
immobilized, as in, like, no longer contributing to society.
They're not really contributing to society
at all, except for the fact that they spend their money. They're not contributing to society in a positive way. They're at best net zero, because they're going to have no money at the end of the day because they spent it all.
And then maybe commit crime, maybe do whatever.
Right, so those are the negatives. But if they spend 100% of their money living, they're net zero. They're not net negative, they're net zero.
Yeah. That was actually, when you said that earlier, that was like, wait. That was like what made me think I might change my mind on this, because you're not wrong.
People that are going to stay on UBI are going to spend 100% of their money.
And they're already gaming welfare right now.
Right.
And they're gaming disability and they're getting free money.
Exactly. So that percentage of humanity, what are they actually contributing? Because from the side of business that I've seen, that kind of individual is going to actually have a negative impact to the bottom line of any business they work for. And I'm super generalizing it.
Of course, we're generalizing.
Who the fuck is they?
Yeah.
I'm overgeneralizing, but people can create a negative impact to the business they work in. People can create a negative impact to an economy they get involved in.
100%. Yeah.
People start businesses.
Bad employees have ruined businesses.
Right, bad employees have ruined business. Bad business owners go bankrupt. And what happens to bankruptcies? All this lost debt just gets, quote, forgiven, which basically means you just can't kill the guy or send him to jail for what he owes you. You're just shit out of luck.
Yeah.
You eliminate that level by making them content. So I think that, like, let's say you look at the 50%, the bottom 50% of earnings.
Yeah.
Of that whole circle of people that participate in that. If you pay $2,000 a month, you chop that off, whatever, the bottom 20%, 25%, I don't think it'll make much of a difference to the cycle of the economy. I think it'll calm people down, and it will really fortify our ability as a country to weather the storms. Because if you look at socialist democracies, rip Bernie Sanders, socialist democracies.
He didn't die. He just dropped out of the.
Yeah.
But by the time you listen to this, he may very well be dead. He's an old man.
Yeah, it's as good as dead. Sorry if you love Bernie. I personally don't love Bernie.
I personally don't love Bernie, but I personally respect Bernie because there's fucking pictures of him at political protests in the 60s.
He's been the same person the whole time.
Getting arrested. He's been the same fucking guy, and I respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trump was a fucking Democrat up until 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, he's getting called an extremist for the things that are considered, just a given in a lot of European countries.
I also think, there's the counterpoint to that is that a lot of those European countries, the people always quote Denmark and Sweden and stuff.
Right.
Those aren't democratic socialist countries. They're capitalist countries with strong social programs.
Yes.
Because they use the money that they would spend on defense and they spend that on social programs and then outsource that to the U.S. via alliances.
Right. So let America defend us.
And we'll spend all the money we would have spent on social programs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you literally take
And this is, for the record, I'm anti-military. But
you take 3%.
That's the reality.
Was the 3% of the defense budget would wipe out hunger in the world?
Yeah, would wipe out hunger in the world.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
So, America, stop inventing space lasers.
Space Force?
Literally just stop inventing space lasers and we can have UBI.
I guess.
Look at what Bloomberg spent on his
campaign.
On his campaign?
Yeah.
Could have provided UBI for the year.
No one's going to fucking remember his name that doesn't know anything about
Bloomberg who?
Exactly, yeah. I guess he wasn't a mayor, right? But whatever.
Fuck mayors. No, sorry, not fuck mayors. I want to purchase one or two of you.
You can purchase me as a mayor.
Okay, down.
Anyway.
Sleazeville.
Probably cut that out. Because it'll happen. Because we're going to, corrupt the system.
Definitely cut that out because this is going to be quoted one day when I'm on trial for corrupting the
mayor. I would never do
and
that.
I'll be like, sir, I am an upstanding citizen. And they're like, look at you on this podcast drunk talking about corrupting the mayor.
Anyway.
Gonna do it.
Jamie, cut that out. Yeah, I don't know. I would... Let's see how this goes with CERB, with COVID, because this is, in a lot of ways, a trial run.
I would love to see CERB without social distancing.
Yeah.
For 2 months. And see how much the economy suffers.
Yeah, I guess,
I don't think it would. Because people on welfare, because the only way you lose out on a universal basic income is if that money
save the money.
If people save the money.
Yeah, who does that? Poor people don't save money.
No.
We know this.
Can't, won't, don't.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Too many fun things to do.
Yeah.
Too many video games.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that even someone fucking sitting at home smoking weed playing video games is buying video games and buying internet and buying PSN.
And buying weed.
Buying marijuana.
And paying rent.
And
utilities, phone, you're still spending all that money.
When you always get you were telling me in real estate, you always get fucking tenants that break shit and leave in the middle of the night and don't pay their rent and shit. If they're getting free money, they're going to pay the rent, right? In theory.
In theory.
To be fair, I know people, young mothers, that have to go on Facebook and borrow money because they spent their child tax or whatever on drugs, and then they have to borrow money for diapers.
Yeah, so that's never going to go away.
Which isn't that's a point that I've never had. If I'm ever in a debate about UBI, because I have a lot of left-leaning ideals and I have a lot of right-leaning ideals, and I often argue from different. You've seen me argue from fucking different positions just for the sake of arguing. If I'm ever arguing UBI, I'm usually arguing on the right side.
Yep. Same. I'm pretty right.
But I've never heard from a left-wing person use that argument that, well, they're pieces of shit anyway, so they wouldn't be contributing to society either way.
A liberal representative won't say that anyway.
Yeah,
Won't say
which
that.
I've never heard that argument before, and that
is why I'm going to be president.
Is really, really interesting to me. Because I don't think you're wrong. I think that...
It's not a very popular opinion.
That... Yeah, that's interesting. That they're not going to be productive members of society anyway, so may as well give them money.
Right, because if you're going to work for McDonald's, work at 60% capacity, and get fired after 18 months, were you a net positive to that business? No, you're probably net neutral, if not net negative, because the cost of training, hiring, acquiring, terminating, rehiring...
It's not like people are using their welfare money to buy shares in companies, right, and stock market and stuff.
The average cost, I think, of a bad hire is somewhere around, like, depending on your business, obviously, but I think this was in tech industry, this was done. The average cost of a bad hire was somewhere around 3x of their annual salary.
I think, yeah, that's right. It's, yeah,
lost opportunity cost, retraining, rehiring.
3 months for every month.
Yeah.
If it takes you 3 months to, like, convince somebody to stay, that was worth it than hiring a new person kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you think about that perspective, people that, revolve jobs, and millennials in general don't stick in jobs. Like Exhibit A, myself.
So, having a career for 40 years and retiring that's such a 20th century.
So, symptom number one.
People used to do that, we don't anymore.
Right. Symptom number one, long-term careers are dead, which means long-term profession skill sets evolve too quickly to become a permanent part of your life.
Why do you think that is?
Innovation moves too quickly.
Yeah, I agree.
Information, technology, everything moves too quickly.
Yeah. When people, I think, put up with a lot less.
Yep.
Like people used to...
People don't work as hard.
Well, I just have to work in the metal shop my entire life. There's nothing else to do.
Right, but I don't... So I'm like the worst millennial in a lot of ways where, like, I quit my job because I'm not getting the emotional fulfillment that I want. But the caveat to that is my emotional fulfillment is doing the harder thing, doing more work, investing more, risking more. So that's what's really screwed me up in the past is I've been told that my entitlement to my satisfaction is wrong.
Yeah.
But my entitlement to my satisfaction is also exactly what drives entrepreneurship. So call me wrong.
No, I mean,
like that was a big thing. Like that was my breakthrough, was realizing that there's a difference between, like, I feel entitled to self-satisfaction.
This may cut in weird because we just took like 5 minutes off to do something and neither of us remember anything that we were talking about.
Perks of an alcoholic podcast.
Perks of an alcohol. I will concede that UBI might be able to work. You've swayed me. This is historic. This is the first time I've ever changed my mind on the podcast.
I'm smart. I know what to do.
I will concede that you are right with saying that productive members of society are going to be productive no matter what. People who aren't are not.
Yeah, you replace minimum wage with UBI, same shit.
Yeah. And I'm not personally.
And also, companies that are innovating on the technology front that have to fight against minimum wage, unionization, all these things. If there's UBI,
they don't have to worry about it.
I don't think there's going to be such a battle against automation, because what is automation slowed down by?
Unions.
Yeah. You eliminate that need.
Whoa, here's an interesting take then. Do you think unions are going to be lobbying against UBI to keep people employed?
Probably.
That's hilarious, right?
Yeah.
They'll just switch on a fucking dime.
Because unions lose their standing, because unions are paid by whatever.
It's like that. It's like the NRA was lobbying for pro-gun control when the Black Panthers were a thing. Because they didn't want black people to have guns.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So...
That's interesting. I would love to see.
So correct but unpopular opinion: unions are against UBI.
Oh, I don't think unions are pro-worker.
So if you're a union representative, call me, please.
I don't even
I'd
see.
love to discuss.
I don't even say that as a business owner. Right? Like I don't know. I like
unions are good.
Well, okay. Banding together with other people is a good idea. These fucking union organizations that are paying their fucking bosses millions of dollars and they're forcing people to pay union dues even though they don't want to be a part of the union, stuff like that. Those are fucking predatory practices.
When you take consent out of it, it's the same thing but different.
Well, it's like, because a lot of unions you have to join. You can't work there.
Yeah.
And you have to pay the union dues every month, and they'll take it right out of your check, or you can't work there. And then it's like, well, if we give people the option, then it cheapens the power of it. It's like, get a better fucking union if people aren't joining your union.
Yeah, if it's not worth your money.
If people don't think it's worth their money, then why don't they,
But that's the same reason that they have to make it mandatory is the reason that they got put in place in the first place, because new people will be like, no, I'd rather not pay the union dues, and then what'll happen is it'll flip back the other way, where nobody will want to pay it, union will collapse, they'll lose this bargaining power, and then they'll want it back, and then they'll give up their money for it, and it'll just like flip-flop back and forth, back and forth. So you have to take choice away from the common man, aka
no, you don't.
universal basic income. Don't let the common man choose his own fate because he doesn't fucking know better.
You watch The Irishman?
Yes.
Fucking Jimmy Hoffa. That's not just a movie. That really happened. The mafia fucking controlled the largest union in the U.S. for a long time.
Yeah. Like now, the largest union is the maids and bartenders and casino workers of Vegas,
and probably also controlled by the mafia. Honestly,
probably. But yeah, that's them. Considered by their actions, they actually have the largest swing vote in U.S. politics. Is that single union?
Well, yeah, I've heard sketchy shit about they kind of influence all their members to vote a certain way, and
they don't even hide that.
Well, here I mean.
Oh yeah.
Like in Canada, like they'll send out a newsletter that says, "Here's the MLA that came down," and it's like,
No, a lot of these American unions will specifically say, vote for this guy because when we vote together, we win.
Yeah.
And if you don't vote for that person, there's actual persecution against those people that don't agree, or if they speak out against, like they literally tell you, don't talk to the media or say otherwise.
Yeah. Stuff like that's so sketchy.
Don't disagree with the union. Period.
Yeah. I just like voluntary association. You should be able to voluntarily associate with something if you want to, right?
So if you were to sum up your political, social, everything philosophies, it all comes down to choice and consent and the ability to choose and the ability to consent in or out.
Yeah, consent's just number one. That's it. There's.
So how does consent fit into UBI?
It doesn't. I guess, for the people getting taxed to pay for it,
there's no consent.
They're not consenting for that, right?
But you are consenting because you chose to earn all this money.
Fuck off.
Right?
That's a bad argument.
It is, but it's true.
No, it's a poor. No, it's not.
You chose to get into liquor, and you knew it was taxed before you started.
That's not a good argument.
Willows, you're in the alcohol business.
I am.
Which is also known as the happiness industry.
Something
also known as the depression industry.
Yeah. Why? I'm not happy, so I don't know.
Well, people buy it when they're happy.
Correct. It's
people buy it when they're depressed.
I always say it's recession proof.
Absolutely. So liquor goes up, whether the economy's good or bad.
Yeah.
Go strong. You're gonna make money always.
Well, because when the Great Depression happened, that's all people were doing was drinking.
Right, bootleg.
Yeah.
That was the rise of organized crime. Was around the oppression of buying liquor, getting drunk, having fun.
Yeah, I mean, people like Al Capone got their, built their empire off of prohibition, right?
Yeah, and marketing brags about it. It's like, we're the prohibition.
Yeah, it's not like Molson. It's like, we're bootleggers and now we're not bootleggers.
Yeah, no, like, I can't wait until your statute is up. Wait. So people buy alcohol up and down.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a business right now. I want to get into self-storage, which pops when the housing market goes down, and it also pops when the housing market goes up. The only time it doesn't pop is when everything is flat, which is fine, because if you're flat when everyone is flat, fine. But when you go up when everyone's up, or up when everyone's down, sounds ideal. I think the same's for you.
Well,
when everything's just like steady, because we were in a bull market for fucking 11 years. Of just like steady, tick, 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 tick. Nobody's stressed, nobody's excited. It's just monotone. You had a monotone business.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily call it excitement, but there's definitely
renewed interest.
Yeah, in drinking.
Focus, reallocation of funds.
Well, my delivery system's definitely been busier.
Well, 11 a.m. is the new 7 p.m.
What was I saying? Quarantine is airport rules?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's either coffee hour or wine hour.
Yeah, there's no in between.
No, there is no in between. I can attest to this 100%. I wake up, I make coffee. If it's like 2 o'clock, I want wine. I feel guilty. I drink coffee. It's 4 o'clock. I start drinking wine.
That's way later than I would. I'm like basically before noon, afternoon.
Yeah, but I live with my mother, so.
Yeah.
I wait for her to crack the first bottle of wine, and then I start.
Which Lord knows she does.
Yeah.
Shout out, Sarah.
It was like 4 o'clock. She fills up her glass, and she walks out of her room. Sorry, out of the cellar where she's got all the wine, and she's like, I've been up since 5. It's okay. And she quickly runs upstairs. Didn't want to feel guilty for that 3 p.m. wine.
Did you have a point?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
But I think your product is in people's minds in a completely different way than it was when everything was good.
Yeah.
I would love to see the MLCC stats of sales numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be able to see exactly until this is all over.
Yeah.
Then I'll be able to kind of take.
I'd like to see it in retrospect.
Yeah,
happened.
Because we have so many ups and downs in this business anyway.
Yeah.
You can't take that on such a small.
Yeah, you'd have to look at 3 years, 2 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So looking at this year compared to my other years is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
The
behavior month over month, it's a weird March.
These are weird times. These are weird times.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm not really necessarily stressed out about COVID much.
Great quote from Tony Robbins I read today. I don't know from who, but one of these people that we don't technically follow or respect the advice of posted a Tony Robbins quote saying, "Your ability to handle uncertainty is directly correlated to your happiness."
Yeah.
And I thrive in uncertainty.
Yeah, so do I.
So
I call it chaos.
Right, chaos. So if I'm sitting at home and I'm like, I have no future prospects, everything is a question mark, even the most basic things are question marks. I wake up stressed about it, but I'm most excited about it.
Yeah, well, I'm the exact same way, I'd say. I thrive in that.
Thrive in chaos.
Yeah.
No chaos, no fun.
Well, exactly. Well, no growth, more importantly.
No growth, no fun. No chaos, no fun. No uncertainty, no fun. No booze, no fun. No COVID, no fun.
No COVID, no fun?
Name of the podcast.
Perfect. Episode 11, no COVID, no fun.
100%. So what did we do? What was your first response to being stuck at home?
Well, I mean, my business is marked essential.
Okay, but?
So, I'm unfortunately not been stuck.
But,
I don't know, I'm bored.
Why? You had, everything canceled on you, though.
Yeah.
Like you do, marketing-wise.
Yeah.
Production didn't slow down.
No.
Sales, distribution, not much changed.
Well, I like making sales. I like going out and meeting people, talking to people, and doing stuff like.
So, your money didn't change, but your.
And I said before, I am the ideal person for UBI, where I would do my job regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think a lot of people are in that train.
But if we're making policy based on what Willows likes, we're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a really bad time. You make policy based on the 1%, you're gonna have a bad time. Which is, I argue, why there is a 1%, because you cannot make a policy for them.
That's fair. Yeah.
You cannot blanket the population with a 1% policy, because it'll seem so stupid and so extreme. It'll make no sense to everybody.
Yeah.
Especially politicians.
Well, 20,000 years of human history, we've always had kings and lords and,
yeah,
chieftains and whatever. Like,
and most of them are rich.
That's what I'm saying, is people find their way to the top no matter what society, whatever we're doing, right? People find their way.
So here's something that I think about a lot.
Sure.
The mindset of politicians that make the rules, sign the bills, vote, argue, speak, represent what we think. What are their fucking mindsets? So your local MLA, what's his name? Her name? Their name?
No idea.
Don't know. Okay. I know mine because I live in a small town and it's easy to remember. We got Cameron Friesen and Candace Bergen.
Yep.
So provincial, federal.
Yep.
And my area, notoriously conservative.
Very conservative.
Can't remember any time it wasn't conservative.
80% vote for conservative.
Whenever anybody argues anything, politics, I'm like, do you have any reason for saying that besides the fact that you're a conservative and not a liberal? They're like, freeze up, conversation dies. But these days, with the democratic socialist society we have in Canada, what is the motivation of a politician?
Politicians just want to get elected again. That's always their motivation.
Exactly.
And giving people free money is a fucking good way to get votes.
Absolutely.
Because people don't want to lose their free money.
Absolutely. So who's going to win? Me. Because I'm pro laziness. Because the people that are going to be lazy are going to be lazy. And if they're miserable because they're lazy, then they're miserable and they're going to do something about it. And if not, they won't. Like, I don't think that fact changes a whole lot by punishing. Like, I think that one of the ugliest things about America is the access to healthcare.
Sure.
I think healthcare should be a human right. I don't think healthcare, like, I love privatization of healthcare.
Yeah.
Because you get better service.
Well, because making healthcare, we don't have to get too deep into this argument, but making healthcare a human right means that you have the right to force a doctor. Like, so if every single doctor said they didn't want to do this procedure or whatever, but you have a right to the procedure, you now have the right to force that one doctor to do the procedure.
Yeah.
Right? I am against that at its core, at its idea. Obviously, that would never happen because we have enough doctors that would voluntarily do stuff.
Because we're all about consent.
Exactly, but if you make it a right, that means that you are able to take someone who went to school for fucking potentially 10, 12 years to become a doctor or surgeon or specialist or whatever, you are potentially legally allowed to force them to do a job because you're impeding on the other person's rights if you don't get them to do the job, right?
So we need to talk to a doctor about that line between survival and health and what you...
See, but we're never going to be in this situation where every single doctor in the entire country doesn't want to do the procedure, right? We're never going to be there. But...
Especially if you throw some money behind it.
Of course. But idealistically, I'm against stuff more than practically, right? Like...
Yeah. I think practically speaking, I don't think there's a way around it.
I think we have shitty healthcare here, though. Even though it's free, quote. Taxpayer funded.
Yeah, but anybody who's smart enough to know it's shitty is probably going to have the resources to get better private. People that want better than what it is will be able to afford to pay for more than it is.
What if I want better and I can't afford it?
You're shit out of luck. What do you want better? What do you want more?
My brother's dead today because we have poor mental health care in this country.
Right.
Publicly funded.
Yeah.
People, and then I guess the left would argue that it's not publicly funded enough. My argument is you can't throw more money into a broken system. It's not going to help anybody.
Right.
Throwing more money into this it's not good how this system works right now, at least in this province. Throwing more money into that. I saw a chart that's like administrators now are paid more than like the total amount of money spent on administration in hospitals is now more than spent on medical care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Throwing more money into a broken thing doesn't fix the thing.
I think administration is fundamental to the scale of something. So, because the more you build a company, it's like a pyramid, right? And the more you expand that, the critical mass of the inside support system eventually outgrows the effective part of it. I don't think it's avoidable.
Then why do you never see that in private businesses, but you always see it in public businesses?
No, you do.
Name one.
Like any large-scale tech company, they have their support system.
Okay, Google.
Right.
Has more employees than users.
No.
Okay. Facebook, more employees than users?
No, you're talking about the difference between
MySpace.
People directly impacting the revenue earned or the innovation realized by the customer.
Well, in healthcare,
compared to the support
in
structure,
healthcare, though, your customer is somebody treated.
Yes. But all the people that have to be involved to make that possible at scale gets increasingly more difficult the bigger it gets. Period.
I'm not an expert. There's a lot of wasted money in this system.
There is, but how do you recoup that wasted money? Back to the original point of our conversation.
Give everyone UBI.
Give everyone UBI. Get rid of the low leverage, low value employees. Replace them with automation, robots, software.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you change that formula.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Unless you change UBI, you're not going to change the formula of effectiveness of the support structure, because as you get in to the center of that pyramid, it becomes lower leverage.
Does anyone have good health care? Any country? I feel like I never hear about.
Not if you ask, though. They're gonna be like, no, it could be better.
Yeah, because we're in a situation where in human history where we've never had.
The only guy that's going to say yes is the guy that has the money to blow. We've
never had good healthcare though in the entire human history, right? It was medicine. It was take this cocaine to get the ghosts out of your blood until like 100 years ago, right? Like
a little bit of heroin, a little bit of Molly.
They were giving fucking heroin to people in like the 50s. Like it wasn't that long ago. Like
it was innovative.
So I guess my point with that is maybe I'll be an optimist and say as our technology grows, I think it'll get better.
Yeah. Technology, innovation, automation, AI will replace so many people that don't want to work anyways. The only thing that will end that is like a cataclysmic event.
Well, and then we take
nuclear war. And
then we take all these people and say, okay, to keep earning your UBI, you got to go to Mars and work hard labor to build a colony.
Right. So then it's not UBI; it's back to hard labor.
Aha!
So there's got to be something that happens. Like there's got to be a collapse of the support system. Like
2/3 of the world's population dying of a global pandemic.
Right. So it's something like COVID, but more serious consequence.
Maybe we haven't seen the worst of COVID yet.
It's a dry run. I think it's a dry run of what could happen. Maybe not in our lifetimes, but it's a dry run of what could cause UBI, and it's also at some point what would collapse it. Nothing is 100% what I believe. Nothing is forever.
Yeah, I agree.
I think UBI is the next 100 years.
Okay.
The 100 years following that, collapse.
I would be willing to try it out because I don't care. I think a lot of I can think of a few examples right now. I think a lot of right-wing people that I know would be like have a fundamental problem with it because they're jealous that people get money for free.
Yeah, agreed.
But
if they also got that money, it's hard to be jealous.
But I'm not in that. That's what I'm saying. Is I'm not in that situation. I don't give a fuck what other people have. Yeah. But I don't want to stay at $2,000 a month. I want to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
So I'll
take it either way.
I will say, let's try it out. Let's try it out. Let's do like 4 years. Try it out. See if it works.
All right. Trudeau. Trump.
I think we should also try 4 years without any prime minister.
See what happens.
Just see what happens. If we don't implode without government, then maybe let's keep no government.
Well, time to join a faction.
I want to be the cool marauders.
Wear a mask, Guy Fawkes mask, red jumpsuit, the whole bit.
We got it. Anyway, we're gonna cut it there, I think. My name is Willows.
My name is Tyler.
Thanks for listening to Alcohol Beyond This Point.
Tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think about UBI. Do you think we should do it? Do you think we shouldn't? Are you currently getting CERB or the U.S. equivalent for COVID? Let us know. Alcohol Beyond This Point on Instagram, Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast on Facebook, and we just posted the episode with Mr. Gigi as our first guest, YouTuber. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. It's on our YouTube. I don't know. Thanks.
That's all.
Thanks for listening. We're gonna go finish the cognac and pass out.
Cheers.